All right, so welcome back, everybody. We're gonna do a little bit of film study on Fury and Usyk, two of the best heavyweights in the world, undoubtedly. Two of the best IQs in the world, undoubtedly. Uh, to my surprise, the rematch was just announced. Hence, why we're gonna do this film study. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. If you've watched some of my other earlier videos, y'all know I am a huge Loma fanboy. But I'm also a huge fan of Usyk. Again, not just because of their style, but also because of both of them have really high ring IQ. This is also going to hopefully ending up substantiating my prediction, which is also what this video is kind of headlined with, of what I think the result is going to be of the rematch. But again, heavyweight boxing, literally anything can happen, like we saw in this fight. And I don't think anybody has ever really challenged Usyk as much as Fury has. No one that he's fought before has been on the level of Tyson Fury. So, very, very interested to see how both guys make adjustments in the rematch. And to be honest, we might even need a third fight, which would be insane and absolutely awesome. So, anyway, with all that out of the way, I'm a huge fan of both of these guys, so we're going to look at what both of them do. I've never done film study on Fury before. However, I have looked at like a lot of different things that he does. I've never done like a formal film study video, I guess, on Fury before. So I'll be really interested to look at what all the different stuff that he does. He's very feint heavy, as we'll see. Somewhat goes without saying. He's a really interesting fighter because he actually kind of reminds me of my style a bit. For those of you who don't know, I did karate for a long time. I did point sparring. I was never fought as like an amateur or anything like that. Never really went to big tournaments or anything like that. But all that to say, I'm kind of a bigger guy myself. But we'll see how. Just because you're big doesn't mean that you're not fast. And Tyson Fury's mental game is extremely fast, especially with the way that he uses feints to probe and to set up different things. Very similar to Usyk. And as we've seen, right, styles make fights. Even Loma said. I think when somebody asked him, like, what do you think Rigondeaux's chances are, and he gave away the secret to beat him, to beat himself, and also the secret to beat Usyk's style, which is the only way for him to win would be to come forward, but he never does that because he always trains as a counterpuncher. That's what Loma said about Rigo, and then that's exactly what happened. Rigo just kind of stood there, tried to play defensive, and got walked all over. And there's more to that fight than that, like the weight, the weight difference. Loma was used to lightweight, Rigo was coming up, but I think that, right, like we just said, styles make fights. If anybody has the style to beat Usyk, it's Fury, 100%. His feint game, he is, I don't want to say all offense all the time, but pretty close to it, which makes these fights really exciting to watch because they are truly then who has the best offense. It's truly a shootout. All right, so right as you come out, right off the rip, see both guys immediately, right? This is your classic southpaw orthodox matchup. Both guys immediately going for lead hand control. Again, right, you're going to see this long pawing jab from Fury all night long. Also, I want to say a quick shout out to Wilson Caden. Wilson Caden did a great film study with a prediction for this rematch as well. You should go watch him. You should go watch. He has actually has a really amazing video on Zab Judah Floyd Mayweather fight. One of the best film studies I think I've ever seen. Him, Boxing Gems, Fouts, all of them are great. A lot of them. Them and Lee Wiley, although Lee Wiley, a lot of his content's down now, but a lot of people have re-uploaded his videos. So all those people, if you're interested in film study, definitely go watch all their stuff. All their stuff's also a lot shorter than mine, but they're all great to watch as well. So right, like I said, we'll see a lot of probing early on from Fury. We're gonna see. Again, this lead hand control feinting from Usyk. Again, right, like immediately both guys starting fast. Right, as soon as you see Fury come out, start with this probe, Usyk starts his feint slip to the left. Doesn't really get controlled a lot. Is still using this timing right to slip forward, slip back, parry, so that he's not just going to get letting Fury know, like, you can't just walk in on me with, like, jab right hand. Because I'm going to be interrupting that a little bit. And again, right, immediately you see Fury Usyk making the immediate adjustment, right? Tyson Fury's been throwing these like shoulder height probe jabs all the time. So now when Usyk comes out, right hand's coming out high, ready to parry down. And then gets Fury to come up with it, and then immediately gets under it to throw this straight left hand to the body. And we're going to see that a lot from Usyk. Again, right, you see Tyson Fury not really bothered by that too much. Again, right, now small little wrinkle adjustment. Tyson Fury now starting high to control this hand from Usyk. Again, Usyk, right, doesn't want to get caught. Ironically enough, I don't think Tyson Fury goes to, or jabs to the body as much. We'll see if he does in this fight, but I think that's why Usyk is okay with saying, you know what, I'm okay with having my hand up a lot higher. I think also there's something to think about here too. Like Tyson Fury is, I'm pretty sure, taller than Usyk. God damn, he's fucking taller than everybody. So he probably has a little bit of a reach advantage. But also, if you think about that, right, his hand is going to be coming down to Usyk's body. So even if Usyk's hand, his right hand's high up like this, he can still parry that shot down, which is something else that's kind of interesting to think about. Usyk immediately just scored with that left hand. Immediately wants to check, okay, now what's your counter, right? Just scored with that left hand, and now he's going to slip outside and is saying, okay, now what are you going to do? Now that I just did that to you, what are you going to do if I try to do it again, right? So asking a question with these pros. Also feinting with this little bounce step right there, and again right there. Again, once he sees no reaction from Fury, or no real reaction, right? No real pressure back. He's not punching him. He sets his feet, then slips outside, right? And then wants to test again with that little dip right there. Again, just trying to break up the timing. But like we talked about, so far he's been on this timing of set, slip, set, bounce, bounce, slip. And then again, instead of this timing where he would normally slip and come outside, right, like he had been doing before, now he's stopping and dipping and coming back up, right? So again, just mixing up what he's doing to make sure that Fury doesn't kind of get a beat on him or get a read on him. And now we do see Fury probably not liking that he's gotten punched twice so far. Or he's gotten punched once or twice so far. We'll see Fury do this a lot too. Partly because he is so fast over such a short. He can be really fast over short distances, right? Yeah, he's not going to beat anybody in a 100-mile sprint, but 100-meter sprint, but 100-meter dash, whatever. But for 8 feet, you can be real quick, right? So you see Tyson Fury now starting out with these little feints, this little slip feint. Although I think that's also meant to... Actually, no, that's him being offensive. I was going to say, you can tell based on how this is timed, this slip, that this isn't him reacting defensively to what Usyk is doing, right? Because it's not in sync with Usyk's slip, right? Usyk slips here, but he feinted left before that. So he's not dodging a left hand to the head right now. He's just, you can see he's doing it on his own timing there. Again, right, using this pawing hand, just trying to keep this lane occupied so that Usyk doesn't just jab right over the top. Which we won't see him do until much later after they go through like a lot of different layers. Here again, right? Usyk probing smartly. This is one of the interesting things people don't talk about that Fury does that's semi-illegal, is this little like back knuckle jab that he does, which for those of you who don't know, you can't hit with the back of the glove. Like if your hand's pointing down like Tyson Fury's is right now, the top of his hand, or the back of his hand, right? You can't hit with that part of the glove. It's not only is it not legal, but it doesn't score either, because it's not a legal target area, right? Like we talked about scoring areas. The scoring area is the knuckles of the glove. So, and you're also not allowed to throw punches like that. You're not allowed to throw back knuckles that, you know, where if your elbow is pointed this way, where your fist just moves this way, right? You're not allowed to punch like that. So Tyson Fury does like a hybrid of that and makes it kind of look like a jab, even though it's still a back knuckle, which gives him this kind of like really weird move that people don't usually see, partly because it's not really legal. And that's kind of one example of it right there. You can see the way that this punch comes, right? It's almost coming like in and up and then kind of morphs into a jab. I think it's kind of a really interesting tool that he has that a lot of other people don't have, because it kind of blocks this angle, right? This like level change down, that's one of Usyk's big tools, in a way that people aren't used to dealing with, because people don't punch like this because it's not really legal to do that normally. So again, just something interesting, a little wrinkle that Fury has, a lot of other people don't. We'll see Tyson Fury's first move of a feint here to interrupt Usyk, right? Just a little parry, 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 and then that right there, right, spooks Usyk big time. He's like, oh shit. It's that little jump back. The boogeyman. Right there. And it's kind of funny too, because there's a little, ironically, that kind of coincided, right, with Usyk's bounce. And this is one of the ways you can kind of tell, right? Tyson Fury is now starting to time Usyk. And one of the things you'll learn about boxing is timing beats speed every day of the week. Doesn't matter how fast you are. If you know when it's coming, it doesn't matter. You can go watch Lomachenko versus Gary Russell if you want a great illustration of that. So there's a little interesting, right? There's a parry here, and there's a little interesting double set that Fury does. There's this stutter set, boom, and then he attacks, right? Sometimes he'll do this too, I think, in his own way, right? Similar to what Usyk does, right? We'll do these little like probes, and he'll see if you have a reaction to it, and then as soon as you see he doesn't have a reaction, he attacks you, right? So when Fury does his little pop right there, and he doesn't see him do anything, boom, immediately he throws the shot, right? And it's interesting because I don't know if he's necessarily like eyeing Usyk's timing the way that he's like eyeing Usyk's reaction. Maybe he's just, I think he's kind of just feeling it, right? So you can see that he's kind of just starting to sense like the progression of Usyk's timing here, and then feels out, right, that this is when like a punch would come, because this is a similar time to when other shots have come. And again, right, we'll see this little long, people call this a long guard, or this the long arm. Andre calls it like the prevent defense. Sometimes I like to call it the stiff arm, because that's literally what it looks like you're doing, is just giving somebody a stiff arm. Again, trying to hold Usyk's head, right? And what this does is a lot of things, right? It pushes him this way by putting his hand on his shoulder, right? It pushes his shoulder back, takes the oomph out of this left hand to the body if you can't turn your shoulders forward, right? But it also, even if Tyson Fury wasn't all the way out of range or backing up like he is, pushing his weight down like this locks Usyk's weight onto this front foot so that he can't pivot back with like a swivel jab or like technically it's a right hand cross, like what Loma does all the time, right? So it blocks Usyk here, so he can't throw a swivel jab. It also is pushing Usyk this way, is pushing his head this way, right, towards the audience on this side. And also keeps him from coming back with like a swivel jab or a hook even as well, right? So it basically stops this combination so Usyk can't get started, right? Because we know Usyk really likes to punch a combination. And he's very, very dangerous and very good at it, as you know if you've watched this fight, and as we'll see, or if you've watched any of Usyk's fights, you'll know. Again, right, here's this little feint from Tyson Fury, right? The head bob, and again, also something interesting here too, right? As soon as Fury does this little head stutter, and it works, immediately does it again, right? And interestingly enough, I think partly because both guys are moving to the same timing or onto each other's timing now, that Usyk is ready to come in as soon as he sees this head fake from Fury too. And again, also you'll note, even though he's a little far away, right, he does have the reach disadvantage, so he's got to close the gap. So he's making progress. And you'll see, right, as soon as that lead hand control goes away from Fury, boom, his right hand is out there trying to occupy this lane or trying to close that lane down. So Fury can't punch him or try to jab at him like he just did, to control that hand so you can throw that left hand at the body. And it parries it too, right? Which does a couple of things. There's a slight little angle change here. So what would have gone, maybe up into his chest or straight into his face, because he's parrying it now, ends up like on his shoulder over here, right? So it also took that punching lane away from Fury, which is really important too. All the different things you kind of do here, right? This little fencing lead hand. Again, Usyk, not rushing in, probing. Interestingly, you see Fury here, right? We've talked about this before in some other film studies. With attacking the center line, right? The center line being like this imaginary line that goes from like your tailbone up to the top of your head, and is present on the front of your body, which is where all of your vital organs can be hit from, and a lot of things in your head too, right? Like your eyes, your nose, your mouth, all the things you don't want somebody to hit. Your ribs, spleen, not your spleen. Your liver, you don't want somebody hitting that. All your vital target areas are on the center line in front of your body. So that's what I mean when I talk about that. But basically, just simple boxing term is just moving to the inside, right? So inside of Usyk's front foot here. So you can see Fury aggressively trying to attack this. One of the things that Freddie Roach says, I've used this quote before, right, is like, a lot of people talk about how in this matchup, and you do want lead foot dominance, which usually means you want to have your front foot outside your opponent's front foot. When we talk about the southpaw orthodox matchup, because then you're behind your opponent, they can't punch as easily at you, which is true. But also, if you circle to the inside like this, sometimes it also can get inside and kind of shorten up the range on your opponent's punches. Although what's interesting here is that that's really more true when all of the things being equal. But Tyson Fury actually has longer reach here. But I think what he's maybe thinking, right, you see him aggressively starting to circle to the right now and not left, which is like not like against conventionalism, but like against what you might think. Maybe because I think he knows I'm not going to beat Usyk to the outside. I don't want that to be my game plan. But if I can get inside first and right force these kind of engagements, he can get inside and start to throw long combinations to Usyk's center line and force Usyk to move away or reposition. And again, right, you see the classic from Fury, sees that little head feint, and then sees no reaction and immediately attacks, right? Head feint, no reaction, attacks. And right before that, too, right, you can see, I'll watch that again. I want to see if Usyk reacted to the first head feint. Yeah, right? See the little stutter step right there? Usyk puts out control, nothing for Fury. Immediate head feint, no reaction, boom, attacks. Right? And that's one of the things that's kind of cool that I really like about Tyson Fury, that if I ever get back in a point sparring, I'm going to steal. I'm going to steal his little head feints. Both because they're hilarious to watch. Look at his head like jerking around like this. But also because they're very effective, and they're all great fighters usually have a really great way to control their opponent without just punching, with things that are non-committal, right? So for a lot of people, most oftentimes, what we talk about is the feet. It's all in the feet in boxing, but also it's lead hand control. Also, it's for Fury. It's one of the only things actually I think that Fury does that a lot of other people don't do. Is they don't use their head feints like this. And it's funny because I think, right, like a lot of feints are supposed to be really long, and then the attack is short, right? It's the long feint is to kind of lull you into complacency, right? And ironically, they're supposed to be almost like really obvious, right? Very visible, right? So ironically, partly because Tyson Fury is so fucking tall, he has this long ass torso, he can jerk his head forward like this, and when he does, it's like very noticeable. Again, right, you see immediately kind of onto each other's game here, right? All these little small, tight steps from Fury. Boom, boom, set. Again, stepping big inside, and then as soon as he feints forward and realizes he gets the position he wants, he attacks from it. This time with, right, kind of like we talked about with that weird, like, not like back knuckle jab, because this is like an actual up jab, this one. This is like an actual up jab. You can tell Usyk's kind of like, whoa, what is that? I'm not used to people up jabbing at me like this. And the thing, too, that's kind of funny is, like, this is still effective, and an effective kind of different tool. Because Fury has such long fucking arms, right? If he puts his hand down, his hand's like going down to his knee from this position, right? So that punch is coming from like this angle, which is really weird, especially fighting somebody as tall as Fury. One of the things this is really good for Fury is that it gives him some kind of control over Usyk to prevent Usyk from level changing down, right? So it stops him from making this level change because it occupies this dip by punching up. And it's also a really weird angle. And it's unexpected because you would expect, right, this long guy is going to throw punches at me like this way, right, coming from using his reach, not up jabbing like this, but again, just one of the sort of quirks of of Fury's style. One of the things that's interesting, too, despite the fact, which I don't wonder if this is a feint, we'll figure it out, I guess, maybe by the end of this round, that he's coming inside. As soon as he gets the position he wants, he's circling to the outside with this jab, which is kind of weird. I don't know if that's either a mistake or if that's like, if he's trying to bait Usyk into coming this way and then wanted to get outside of him. Maybe he is actually trying to go toe-to-toe with Usyk's footwork here to see, like, okay, how good are you really? Can I out-footwork you? Again, right, as soon as they get back on that line, lead hand control. When I talk about the line, what I mean is basically think similar to like the line of scrimmage in football, which is an actual line in football, albeit it's not actually drawn on the field, but where the teams line up on either side before they make their plays, right before the play starts. It's kind of similar to that. Again, like Fouts is really well known for coining this term. I use it a little bit differently than he does, but when I talk about the line, I mean like basically the place where both fighters engage, where either one of them or both of them are in range to punch each other. Usually I mean it as both of them are in range to punch each other, right? So oftentimes we'll talk about who gets to the line first, right? Like who gets to the place of engagement first, because whoever gets there first has a huge advantage. And you'll see that a lot in the film studies. I talk about that a lot because it's relevant. So here, interestingly, right, after Fury has done this, he kind of gets ahead of Usyk a bit. Right now you can see them kind of moving the line of engagement. Fury's kind of moving inside, waiting for Usyk to come forward. And they're both kind of jockeying for position constantly with their feet here, right, as well. Here you can see Fury, right, not really defensively slipping, but like offensively, kind of just saying, okay, Usyk, what do you do when I do this? And again, no big look from him. Interestingly, right, you can see Usyk kind of throwing this parry, this like inward block out here, right, to catch this up jab. And again, right, this is Usyk, or sorry, not Usyk, Fury probing with that. And then Fury clocking that Usyk wants to do this downward block, or this inward block, right? Seeing the inward block control right there. Seeing the inward block control here. Seeing it again right there. Slips here. Sees the inward block come out. Is like, oh, when I move my head, you're going to do this inward block, right? And so he does this little stutter step to try to bait this inward block out. And then throw over top. And it actually almost works. Right? You can see he actually does time it right, but it still kind of messes Usyk up because even though he's putting his hand out and bringing it back, he actually almost doesn't. He ends up not really blocking this because because Fury is sending this jab out as Usyk's block is returning, right? So again, even just with that, you can see both guys are clocking the timing on each other really well, very, very early on. And again, right now you can see almost like the immediate adjustment from Usyk, right? Watch his hand now. Watch his lead hand. See how it's coming like straight out? It's not really coming out as like down. So that way he has a little bit more of a check against that feint or that jab. Again, right, going back to that. So all these little interesting wrinkles, right? Just in the first couple seconds of the first round, we can see Usyk starting to make adjustments to Fury. Fury's kind of doing the same thing. And again, we see like a quick adjustment from Usyk here. Fury's going to do his little head feint jab. This time, ironically, moving backwards, right? And then coming forwards all of a sudden, right? Head feint jab. Usyk counters by slipping full slip outside this time. And now, unlike before, right? Remember how Fury's hand was on Usyk's head, pinning Usyk's weight to his front foot, which prevents him from transitioning his weight back to either the center so that his weight's 50-50 or to his back foot, and it locks him into that position, right? Remember how we talked about that? Now he's not doing that, and this is what happens. Usyk just walks right outside for free because he can transition his weight back to like his center line or to his back foot. He can transition his weight through that leg instead of getting stuck there, right? Most important tactic in the world right there. Blowing your nose. Or wiping the sweat off his face. I don't know what Fury's doing. I like to think they're blowing their nose. Even though you're not supposed to do that if you have a broken nose. Apparently. Anywho. right back to the lead hand duel. Again, right? Fury kind of feinting this long slip outside, trying to see what Usyk's going to do. And so far, Usyk has kind of said, I'm going to back up and maybe lead hand control, right? Because the first time he did it, actually, no, back up and lead hand control both times. That's what he's done both times now that Fury's done that. He has done it more than that, but the last two times he's done it, that's what Usyk's reaction's been. Again, you do see, despite the fact that Fury doesn't get his hand on Usyk's head, you can see he is still trying to push with his forearm like a lever to shield and push Usyk this way, right? You can see his eyes wide open here because he's like, oh shit. He wants to keep Usyk outside of him. He doesn't want to let Usyk get behind him because if he does, Usyk is just going to fucking wail on him, and that's what he doesn't want, right? Because if you get behind your opponent, you can hit them. Well, you can't hit their back or the back of their head because that's not a legal target area, and you'll get penalized for that. But you can throw punches to the front or the side of their head for free, and they can't do anything to stop you. Again, right? You see this quick little L step from Fury trying to reset his position so that Usyk doesn't have as good of an angle on him. You kind of see both guys, well, despite the fact that Usyk is kind of squared up, are fighting with their feet in this like bladed, mostly bladed stance here, or kind of like point karate stance. What I mean by bladed is like your shoulders are in mostly a straight line to your opponent. Instead of coming, although this is kind of a bad example because they're coming off this way, more example of a straight line. Pure bladed stance would be like his shoulders are almost like right over, not like right over top of his feet, but in a straight line with his feet towards his opponent, pointed towards his opponent. This is a little bit better of a bladed stance, right? Ironically, even though Fury's not really staying here, he's walking through this position. Again, right, it's fast, heavy feint. I think Usyk or Fury here is trying to check, like, okay, because you've been not reacting to a lot of my feints, and I feel like I haven't really gotten a whole lot out of you yet. Really want to see what you're going to do if I feint outside like this. Again, right, not being predictable either, because he's done this a couple of times, this feint outside. So he comes back and then slips down a little bit, right? So he doesn't get popped when he comes right back up. Again, that's bad. That's not being defensively responsible to just come back straight up to like this position, which is part of why he's, again, just trying to, you know, make sure that he's not coming right back right away. But what he's also doing with this is ironically a little bit subtler than a Fury feint. This is also looking for jab to the body, right here. That's also what he's kind of like looking for right there with that look. Interestingly here too, I wonder if he was actually about to go for it, and then Usyk like feints him off of feints him like out of his position. So you can see, right, like this little circle feint from Usyk kind of like spooks Fury a bit. Again, right, you see Fury wants to keep this hand out and keep control of the space. And he's not doing what you'll see a lot of other people have done in the past, right, when you've had fighters who just have a huge reach advantage like this. They can just basically put their hand on your head and then just wail on you. He's not just leaving his arm out because he knows if he does that, Usyk's going to do exactly what he did in the opening sequence of this fight, which is just duck under it and throw left hands to the body all day. Right? So he knows he can't get away with that. So that's why he can't just leave his hand out there all day long, in case anybody's wondering about that. But he does, right, want to occupy that space because if his hand is out there when Usyk attacks, right, it gives him a lot of control. Like we talked about, he can steer Usyk outside of him. He can push his hand on Usyk's head to lock him down in that position, keep him from transitioning his weight. This quick little circle scoop from Usyk is really funny. And I wonder if that's kind of like a weird... I actually don't even know what that is. This is kind of him just... I think just like breaking up the timing a little bit, right? Right? Sometimes I think him... Well, maybe not him and Loma, but I'll see Loma do this a lot, where they kind of like pantomime what they're thinking about doing. Like, I call it like thinking out loud, but in boxing, right? This is almost Usyk trying to time Fury out loud, thinking like, okay, what are you going to do if I... Or how does this move fit into your timing, right? How do I make this move work or land? This little pop come over the top is what that looks like. At least to me, that's what this looks like. Which is just him kind of experimenting with like, okay, what's your reaction going to be? Because we've been doing this lead hand up top, high five the last couple times. If I fake high and then circle and come quick back over top with something, right? That move right there. And you can see it kind of catches Fury a little bit unawares. Because he's like, oh, backs up a little bit and pops his hand out. And then goes to either slip back down or feint. And it looks like Usyk has kind of felt out or clocked his timing. Because right after he does this, feints again, and it gets Fury to back up. And again, pushes Fury out of position, right? Now Fury has to step back, or feels like he has to take a step back, I should say. Again, now Usyk testing testing his classic slip forward, seeing what's going to happen there. Again, Fury trying to up jab or do lead hand control now, kind of flipping it a little bit, coming lead hand control up from this spot. Again, I'm wondering if he's doing that like we talked about before, because this pulls Usyk's front hand down out of position, which is good for Fury. Now, there we go. Looks like Fury is going to throw jabs to the body. Again, you can see, right, like I talked about. That was just me guessing, too, based on his look, right? Because he's done this exact thing quite a few times now. And again here, right, the reaction from Usyk, ironically, sort of unlike before. Oh, actually, no, not unlike before. His reaction when he did lead right hand feint was for Usyk to back up and lead hand control, right? But so far, usually when when Fury has done this body jab look like that right there, it gets Usyk to either back up or stop what he's doing. You can almost see Fury kind of smile a little bit right there because he realized that worked. Or to attack, right? Because right there, it actually got Usyk to attack, which to him at least also means that like Usyk's not seeing that coming, right? Or he maybe didn't even see it because he didn't realize that there was control coming from Fury, which is good for Fury because it means he's not going to see the body jab that's coming behind it, right? Right here, boom, body jab right behind it. Interestingly enough, right? This is kind of funny to me. Fury maybe used to having a reach advantage against people who don't work as hard. Is like, oh, I can just punch you and then just back up and be fine. And I'll just lean on my back foot and be lazy. And Usyk's like, fuck that, dude. I'm not here to fucking be your sparring partner. I'm here to whoop you. And so because Tyson Fury's a little lazy here, kind of admires his own work, and then just kind of stops, Usyk jumps all over that. And one of the things that's cool here too, right, is this first punch from Usyk almost doesn't even matter if it lands. It's him just kind of instinctively trying to jab over the top of Fury's jab, like we talked about before, right? He did that little circle move of like, what are you going to do if we come on the same timing and I circle over top? So you can see he's kind of thinking. That's what he's thinking right now, is counter over the top. And even here again, counter over the top, right? Because he knows his hand's on top here. If their hands are in this position, right, if Fury continues to come up with like up jab or body jab from here. Ooh, and again, right, you can see that this is a new look from Usyk too, because he hasn't done this before. He like parries that down with like his elbow and then jabs over the top, which is really cool. One of the things that's kind of really, because I rarely feel like I see people parry with their elbow like that. At least a body jab, not like that. Like they'll block it sometimes by like moving their elbow back this way to block like your right kidney, but not like that. That's pretty cool. One of the things that does though is also leaves your front arm loose so they can up jab real fast like this. And so even though he's out of range for that jab, it doesn't land. It does also block this high punching lane, right? So that Fury can't come back over the top with anything, right? He's like, which is why, you know, it sounds stupid to be like, oh, why would you throw this punch that you know isn't going to land and it's not going to blind him? It's not designed to just do that, to just fire back immediately also. But it also blocks this lane right here, right? So now if Tyson Fury wants to throw a jab up high or anything like that, he can't because Usyk's arm is right there. Or if he wants to throw like a hook, maybe, his arm's at least kind of in the way to block this lane. And you can tell that, or Usyk correctly judged that Fury was not really ready to attack moving backwards, which is interesting. Even though Fury has actually been boxing a little bit off the back foot here. We saw him boxing on the back foot a little bit earlier, very, very briefly, that Usyk correctly clocked that that's not what Fury's thinking right now. He's just kind of being lazy. And so Usyk follows that back and blasts him with the left hand to the body. You can tell, unlike the other shots, right, that one kind of lands because it hits Fury before he starts to move at all. So again, really, really great, just like pure reaction from Usyk, realizing right after he throws this jab that nothing else is coming from Fury and he's getting kind of stuck there. He's not moving away fast enough that he's in range for him to hit. So again, smart little reaction or adjustment from Usyk there too. Again, right, we see Fury circle him to the inside. Interestingly enough, we see Fury kind of go back to high control here. Already the guy's going through the layers of offense. Fury now like double feinting, double pumping the lead hand, trying to see if Usyk's gonna. You can see, look at his face right here. He's like, please walk in, so I can hit you. And Usyk's like, oh no, I'm not. I thought about it, but nope, not anymore. Right. So again, trying to see like, oh, can I bait out with this double probe the thing that Usyk just did, right? This parry and over the top control. And again, you see he's like, ooh, he's ready to jump all over it. And Fury this time kind of expecting it, right? Quick, come up with that push or that like long arm control, that like long guard, right? To try to again just contest this lane and block it. And in that case, you can tell based on the angle that he's really trying to block like a jab there too. Not really so much left hand of the body. Again, this time head feinting, but this time sees, right? Usyk is ready, hands in position to block. Again, because both guys timing each other really well, right? Block, head, hand forward, but Usyk has clocked Fury's timing, right? So as soon as Fury's coming forward here, he's doing something, right? Fury's coming forward, hands up. Fury's coming forward, hands up, slip to outside. Fury's coming forward, hands up, right? So he's clocked Fury's timing, and then as soon as Fury's coming forward again, right, on a roughly similar timing, his hand's ready, which is why Tyson doesn't do anything with this. He does the feint and he sees that Usyk is ready to guard. You can see he even throws this out like he's looking for jab to the body too, based on how low that block is. So you can tell that's what he's going for. Now, interestingly, this time now you can see Fury starting to try to keep this hand out to see can I get away with stiff arming you, like we talked about I want to say cheap because it's not cheap, but like the easy win tactic. Right, like if you can do this to somebody, you just like destroy them. If they're not smart enough to figure out a way around it. Interestingly, here you see, I think that right, Usyk can tell. Right, look how much Fury's like leaning forward. His right hand's right in position to punch, and so his left hand is out long and far. Fury's leaning forward, and his shoulder's starting to come forward more, which looks more like right hand. You can tell that's what Usyk's kind of worried about here when he slips outside, even though you can kind of see forward, is that he's like tightening his hands immediately in case that right hand comes. All right, so he doesn't get blasted in the face by it. Again, right, a little head feint from Fury, pushing Usyk back, pushing Usyk out of position here. Once he realizes, oh, Usyk's just probing, I don't want to let him do that. I want to get control back. Interesting thing here, too, is, right, see these little probes that come out a little 1, 2, 3, right, 1, 2, 3, right there. And the third one, you can tell Usyk's like, I don't want to get suckered into this timing from you. You can see he circles out of it right away. This is like, I don't want to get stuck there. Then once they kind of reset a little bit, then he moves with the slip outside feint. See what Fury's going to do before he gets backed up a little bit again. Again, now you can see Fury, despite circling to the inside looking for body jab, now is immediately also trying to establish other weapons too, saying like I'm not a one-trick pony. I won't just body jab you. Here he's almost borrowing Usyk's own shit from him, which is really funny. He slipped forward, right, like he was going to throw right hand, and then used his weight, shifted his weight back, turned his shoulders back, right, to circle outside and swing his hips outside right there, and then start moving this way to start to circle around Usyk. And again, jab, and circle to the outside, right? And again, once he sees that he does his little head feint and there's no reaction, head feint, no reaction, head feint, reaction, but there's no control coming his way, right? This is just him blocking. He's like, all right, I can punch for free here. See what we'll do. Again, right, you see Fury kind of hand purposely now low, like, ish by his waist, right? Almost by his, like, knee. Again, a little shoulder feint there. It's a little small slip outside. But Usyk's kind of starting to control him a little bit when he does that, right? Right here. This little motion here, which is why you can see him. This is actually a defensive slip, a little bit, micro slip from Fury. This is actually him moving back because he's worried about what Usyk's going to do. Doesn't want Usyk to jab him over the top when he's slipping outside like that. Again, right, there's the smallest little thing to counter that motion that Fury just did, right? Again, because they saw, ooh, that kind of worked. Let me see if I can get away with it again. He starts to do this, and immediately you can see Usyk's like, nope. A little bit of control back. Like, I don't want you to do that. I want you to just circle around me like that. This is one of the first times, interestingly enough, we see Fury kind of contest this position right here from Usyk, right? Where he sees him kind of sit there and not attack immediately. Again, right, you can tell Fury, unlike, not maybe unlike, but sort of unlike a lot of other fighters, will attack immediately after his feints if you don't do anything, right? So if he feints, when he sees other people do that, that's what he thinks they're going to do. He thinks, oh, they just feinted. They're either going to attack right away or they're not doing anything. And so as soon as he sees Usyk do this and not do anything, like feint and then feint again, he's like, nope. That's not a real attack. I know that's not a real attack, so I can punch at you for free. Or he's thinking, oh, Usyk just feinted a second time. That means an attack is about to come. I need to try to get my hand out there to control. Right? And you can see him back up almost like he's expecting that too. Now I'll be interested going forward to see. I wonder if Usyk will clock the fact that Fury feints and then attacks immediately, or if Fury will be able to mix up his timing enough to get around it. Because if Usyk is able to clock that, that's going to take one of Fury's, and if Fury can't adjust, that's going to take one of Fury's main weapons away from him. Again, right now we see Fury kind of circling back inside a little bit, or moving at least back a little. And then, right, as soon as he sees Usyk start to step this way, wants to get this circle out going so that he doesn't get trapped in the corner, which is what Usyk's trying to do here. He's trying to cut the ring off and try to force Fury into the corner. And ironically enough, Usyk almost steps a little bit too far to the left here. Again, game of inches, right? Which lets Tyson, again, get this little outside angle right here where their feet are in line. This, by the way, this is a good example almost of a bladed stance, except his shoulders aren't quite in a row. But like feet-wise, this is about it, right? Going like shoulders almost in a straight line, like right to your opponent. And so, because you can see Usyk kind of almost missteps a little bit here, you can see he almost like kind of quickly adjusts. As soon as he sees Fury start to go back this way, he wants to come back, but Fury's already realized, oh, nope, you overcommitted. You stepped too far. And ironically, he almost cuts Fury's like front foot off anyway, but because Fury's got like a little bit longer legs, he's able to just kind of step back and step over that and circle back out so he gets center ring back, which is what he wants. This here is a bit of a defensive slip from Fury. You can see as he slips, as they come back on the line, right? He sees Usyk coming forward. Again, just being defensively responsible. What we mean by defensive responsibility is you're anticipating what punch might be coming at you or might be about to come at you, and you're moving in a way that makes it so if that punch came at that time, it wouldn't hit you, right? So what Fury is thinking here, or is at least moving his head for, is if Usyk comes forward right here and throws a jab, it's not going to land because his head has already slipped. And then once he sees Usyk starting to back off, he knows the punch is not coming, which is why he just moves his head back to center. Right, so right here, he's thinking, right, Usyk's weight's coming on his front foot. If Usyk comes forward, even though Usyk's not really that reckless or stupid to just throw a jab out of nowhere from here, right? And again, right, his left foot's pushing off the ground, so he could lunge forward if he wants to. Hit this way. If he does, Fury's head slipped to the outside, right, so that shot's not coming. Also kind of slips that left hand. And again now, right, Fury has kind of clocked that Usyk is doing this feint to the outside and not doing anything. And so now he's not even waiting for the second beat or the second time. He's just attacking immediately right now. So as soon as Usyk slips outside, boom, body jab comes out. And again, it's this little non-committal jab because he kind of knows, like he jabs and quickly moves back out, partly because he wants to maintain his own distance because he has a reach advantage, but also because Usyk has done this thing repeatedly when he slips to the outside. You'll see it here. I'll see if I can find a clip for you in a second. Where he'll put his hands together real close to block that right hand like we talked about, and then he opens them again, right? So watch how they're really close together, and then they open up immediately, and then they close again, actually, because he's worried he's going to get punched. And then he does get punched at, so he keeps them close. But then right immediately afterwards, opens them up as he moves back away from the pressure so that he can see what's coming, right? That's the point. He's tightening his guard, but then he's opening right away so he can see what's coming. So that's why Fury wants to punch at him immediately, because it's when he knows Usyk can't see what's coming because he's putting his hands too close together, right? So you can kind of see it here. He's like blocking a right hand, right? But that's why he's jabbing to the body, because the body's there. And Usyk can't see it, which is why he kind of gets jabbed, I think, a little bit right there. And then he's also, right, doing that jab to the body and quickly moving out of range in case anything's coming back from Usyk, or in case Usyk was about to attack off that timing, right? Which is why you can see he quickly pulls back. And again, right, because he almost got countered over the top earlier, or he knows that Usyk's been looking for that. That's what this also was. So both guys making real good adjustments so far. Really, really quick. Crazy fast. There's a little step feint from Usyk here, and I want to see if there's like a reason for him doing that. Here also, the other thing that lets Fury get away is that he clocks this little rocking motion from Usyk, right? Back, forward, boom. That he kind of starts a little before that, right? Here, 1, 2, and then on the third beat, right, Usyk catches him. Or sorry, Fury catches Usyk, rocking forward. Again with that long body jab. 1, 2, and then on the third beat, right, he kind of clocks it. And so even though Usyk kind of parries it down a bit with his elbow, that's what gives Fury the opening to get outside. I didn't really talk about that before. I was really just talking about their feet, but I wanted to point that out also because that was also a nice little good job by Fury to notice that. Again, right, this time when Usyk moves outside, not keeping his hands too close together now. Right here, they only kind of, his elbows come together, but his hands stay apart. So that's a good little, again, immediate micro adjustment. Again, right, using this deep set, because right here, this is where Fury, like we just talked about, just kind of hit him as he was setting his weight on his back foot and moving forward. So again, now you can see he's almost kind of doing the same timing too, right? He's doing this little rock forward motion here, which is what lets Fury time him too. Rock forward, back, right? I should say forward, back, forward, and then Fury times him on the third beat immediately because he can just feel that out, right? This is what I mean when I say the fighters are like feeling out each other's timing or feeling the timing, right? You can tell he almost doesn't even think about it. It's just instinctual. He just sees it, sees that timing, and is like, oh, I can hit you on that. And again, now you see Usyk changing his timing up a little bit and tightening the rhythm up, right? So now the transitions come faster. They're not slow like they were before, right? Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. This is actually really irregular rhythm, which is really cool. So there's like a little set, and then set, long wait, and then uses that long, this is all a feint for this left hand. All these are a feint for that left hand, which is crazy to me. God, how well he sets this up. This right here brings his momentum forward a little bit, gets his right foot up. Again, sets, circles over the top because he knows that's worked before. Gets Fury moving back. As soon as that right foot comes forward, right, you can tell he's thinking. He's going to move forward and attack. You can tell right here he's already ready to do it. As soon as that left foot comes down, whoosh, that left hand of the body comes, right? And I wonder if Fury's also giving him a lot of high control here. Yeah, Fury gave him... Usyk realizing, here's the other cool part too, right? Usyk realizing, oh, I always get timed on the third beat, right? 1, 2, and then 3. I get timed there. Now I'm going to attack on the second beat, right? Although here he actually really just got attacked immediately, but 1, 2, right? Kind of got attacked on this beat, so realizing Fury's looking to attack on this beat, the 1, 2, right? Brings his hands close together, again, right? Because he also kind of got attacked immediately right away, so he's also trying to look for that. Again, trying to bring his elbows together because he's thinking, now he's thinking Fury is thinking jab to the body, because that's all Fury's done. Fury has not thrown a straight right hand, which is what he was worried about. So that's why you see the elbows come together and now both hands too, in addition to letting him see better, right? That's the other thing that does. But you can see, because Fury's giving him high control here too, and you can see he's kind of realizing, oh, I'm setting my weight too much, which is why he uses his set feint to kind of break Fury's rhythm here, or interrupt him. Because he knows, oh, well, if Fury's going to time me on that, I can use that to distract him, right? make it look like I'm going to do something to get him to back up, which is exactly what he does. And then when he sees this high control coming repeatedly from Fury, that's why he knows, oh, okay, I can slip deep in under this, and again attack on the second sort of exchange of the second timing, right? So this way there's like a quick feint, and then he comes right back up again, right? Because he kind of got timed on the second repetitive motion, so now he's not doing two things in a row anymore. Again, first motion, big feint, then comes forward, and then doesn't even give Fury anything. He just kind of slips deep down too, right? So again, also kind of like working around that third timing just with that as well. Fury trying to go right back to that jab to the body. Love his little face from Usyk right here. It's so deadly serious. Again, right, Usyk trying to block also. That classic like inward block that we talked about. Again, right, Fury does this little low look to see what does Usyk do. And then Usyk backs up and has his hands together so he knows he's ready for it. I wonder if Usyk's going to feint outside and then go around him. I've watched this fight once, but I've not watched it immediately beforehand for film study. So this is me all doing all this fresh. Again, right, you can see Usyk having success with the big dip before this, right? The big dip down, big level change. So now he's going to start to feint that. So now, right, as he comes forward, he's going to start to feint that level change. Here, there's that motion again. Again, shortening it up with like tighter steps so he's ready to move. And again, right there, also looking for it to see, okay, Fury, what are you going to do if I do that? And then an even deeper level change to be like, okay, what are you going to do with that? I think also because what he wants to do is he wants to try to get Fury to either set down with him so he can come over the top, right? Like we've been talking about Usyk strategies, try to counter over the top. I don't know what Fury is doing here with this right hand. So this is another interesting illustration, right? These little like 2s and 3s that Fury does of these little micro timings, right? Boop, 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 uppercut, right? Just trying to like, I don't know. Maybe I think he's just kind of messing around, but also just like feeling himself, right? Feeling this little rhythm of, oh, I slipped to the left foot, now I slipped to the right foot. What's loaded up? Right uppercut. Let's see, and then maybe just throws it just to see like. I think this is almost like garbage info, like just to make Usyk think he's thinking right uppercut, even though he's like definitely not at this point, but also just trying to like feel it out, right? Like we talked about sometimes people just like thinking out loud. Just kind of messing around with it off of this rhythm, right? Realizing that Usyk is kind of starting to come forward a little bit here. Slip, back, right? Usyk slipping outside. We're coming inside here. And then again, also, right off that uppercut, slip left, right? So again, also, like, just kind of getting into his own. Tyson Fury always marches to the beat of his own drum, but especially in this case. Again, right, you see him trying to keep his hand out, try to pin Usyk in place this time, not letting Usyk get any like lead control. You can see he quickly backs up as soon as he sees Usyk make this deep feint, and again, when he sees Usyk do it again, because he doesn't want to get punched to the body like he just did. Again, right, Usyk trying to time this lead hand from Fury because it stopped him here. So immediately then you see him throw this jab out, trying to see if he can get under over, right? And then this is where you start to see him try to time and parry this lead hand on the first beat, and then thinks it's coming there, but it doesn't, right? And again, Usyk may be expecting lead hand control there. And all of this, by the way, which is why I love Fury so much, all this dumb shit he does, all this shit, all that, just to fucking set up a jab. And I'm not making fun of him because it's smart. I'm laughing, one, because it just, you would think people will do this, but like, he'll do it to you. So all these feints that he does right here are all just to lull Usyk into a sense of complacency and think, oh, Tyson Fury's just dicking around. He's not doing anything. But what is this? All this does, all this weird-ass movement eventually leads to him loading up his back foot and slipping down and looking for that same body jab look he's had this whole time, right? Or this up jab look he's had this whole time. And you can tell that one's actually meant to hit him. So it's funny because he's trying to dial in, I guess, his own little, like, weird timing of rocking back and forth, moving between his front foot and his back foot here. Back, front. Just to see if he can get it to line up with when Usyk wants to come forward. And he almost gets him, too. Or kind of does, right? Gets it, times it just right, so he's able to push Usyk back. Again, you can see Usyk going for that slip outside. And even this time, even though control doesn't really come, one of the first few times right here, we see Fury try to keep that hand at home by circling in with it, almost like a left hook kind of motion, even though he's not throwing it as a punch at all. And this time, you can see he does that because he's trying to circle outside, right? So he pins that hand in place, boom, right there, because he's moving this way. And you can see that right there, right? He's circling outside. And you can see also, right, both these guys like to punch in combinations. Like I said, it's going to be a shootout. You can see right after he does this now, ooh, big grimace. You can see he's trying to go for that long combination punch to the body because it's there, right? Now this is interesting because I can't tell if this is partly him using his arms to guard. This is interesting. I can't tell if he's thinking left hook here. This second motion his left hand does is what I'm looking at. After the jab. After this. Right? He like circles back. And then ends up not throwing anything off of it, actually. Although I suspect this is either him like double pumping it. Yeah, right. You can see it goes right out right there to potentially block or parry as he like swings this hand back because he's loaded this shot up, this right hand. And you can see he brings it back in right there before stepping away. Again, really sloppy, but he can get away with it because he has like he's like 6'8" or however tall he is. I don't know how tall he is. I'm making that up. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's 6'8" because dude's fucking huge. But just doing this because he can get away with it because he knows Usyk's nowhere near him to punch him. Classic smirk. I don't know if that punch actually landed, did it? Maybe a little bit. But sensing that he's kind of outsmarted Usyk a little bit is getting a little cocky, right? Again, realizes that, again, always aware of where he is, realizes he's near the ring post. Again, is like feint. First time Fury's kind of done the little triple feint just to see if he can get Usyk to react or not to react to it. Again, Usyk doing a better job cutting off the ring this time. Staying outside Fury, not stepping too much inside, right? Always staying outside of Fury so that his foot's not like over here, right? Or too far inside like it was before so that Fury can't just circle away, right? Because you can see here Fury goes to go for it and Usyk's like, nope. And again, it's just taking smaller, tighter steps this time to try to cut that ring down bit by bit and try to walk Fury into that corner. And you can see here, right, he's kind of almost ready. This is the same exact exchange we saw before, right, when he was trying to push Fury into the corner. And he stepped inside a little bit too much. Immediately, Fury's trying to get away and circle outside. And immediately, Usyk knows, oh, that's what you're thinking. So he takes this big step, right? Again, trying to stay with Fury or outside of him, like this. Doing a good job cutting off the ring. Ooh, and lands an up jab there, too. Right? Realizing before, maybe clocking the fact that Fury, not only has Fury had his lead hand down like this whole time, but also that he hasn't really been covering for up jab over the top. Like he was expecting maybe body jab before. And then right there, right? Usyk finally making the adjustment. And again, this is something I think is interesting, but also is, how do I put it? One of the reasons why I think Usyk's IQ is good, but it's not as good as Loma's or as good as Fury's, because you can see all these little things that Fury has done so far, right? Just in his first round alone, that he just adjusts so incredibly fast immediately to what you're doing, right? But it's taken Usyk this long to realize, oh, I should parry this jab down and then come over the top, even though he's been looking for it this whole time. Right there, boom, scores really well with this jab. Or maybe he just really needed the ring advantage, the positional advantage to get this. One of the things that's cool about this too, right, and again, the reason why he doesn't want to let Fury get outside of him is because he's needed this angle, right? Now look at where his feet are. Now he gets this outside angle and boom, clocks Fury. And now, like we talked about, right, when you're on that outside angle, it's really hard to hit you. So this shot just goes right over Usyk's back because Fury can't land it because Usyk is too close to him now. Caught Fury coming forward a little bit. And so Fury couldn't lean back enough to get this shot to work. And again, correctly judges that Fury is coming forward here. Again, looking to set up a jab right hand up top. Again, right after what he just did before, mixing it up, right? Now going upstairs after last time he did basically similar or same combination but downstairs. Right, you can see he threw that right hand to the body. But now he's throwing it up top, partly because Usyk's not slipping outside either. The reason why you can see people throwing those counters to the body when people slip outside like that too is because when they slip deep outside, they have to set their weight on their front foot, which kind of locks them in position. And so because of that, they can't push away to roll with this shot by like moving backwards. That's why you'll see people throw those long counters to the body. Again, right, immediately probing on the same angle that he just scored on, just to see can I get it to work. And now immediately you see Fury's hand is much higher. So I'm willing to bet. How much you want to bet? Let's see. How long does it take Usyk to figure out left hand to the body is there? Ooh, not that long at all. Although, to be fair, he was already looking for that. So I don't know if that really counts as an adjustment. It's just him kind of realizing it's there. Hilariously, though, getting it to work, right, this lead hand control. And again, right when he does it there, he realizes, like, oh, you're just going to follow my hand up. Right? Hand up, follows it. Hand up, follows it. Hand up even higher, follows it again. And then he double pumps it and then is like, I don't even have to do anything. I can just circle above like this and your hand's going to come up real high and that opens up the shot to the body. And again, also the whole time while he's doing this, right, circling on this angle, right, this jab, even though it gets parried, setting up this angle so he has it so he can get even farther in to throw this left hand. And again, something else I want to talk about too. When Fury's aware, when he doesn't let his mind lapse, is on the ball enough to be able to get away from most of these shots, right? So you can see, right, even as he's doing this, he knows he's getting outflanked. He knows Usyk's getting away from him or getting outside of him, so he knows he needs to get away. Even though he's a little bit too slow to realize it to avoid getting hit, so he still gets hit with this left hand. He knows, like, right here, oh shit, I'm outflanked. I gotta move, right? And his reaction time's still pretty good. So he has the reflexes and he has the awareness to know when Usyk's getting around him, so that if he doesn't get beaten by tricks like this, like the lead hand stuff, that he can get away in time and not get hit by these. Again, right? As soon as he feints and sees no reaction, he knows that Usyk is coming. Or, sorry, that he can attack, rather. This time mixing it up, too. Setting his weight down, but coming up with a jab upstairs this time instead of downstairs to the body. True stiff arm now. Again, now you can see he's doing it because I think he almost wants Usyk to circle and come over, right? Stuff, trying to see will you come over, and then he does, and you see he backs up right away because he's waiting for Usyk to come in behind that like he did before, and he doesn't. And so he's like, okay, maybe try it again. Throws it out again, and it doesn't. And then this time, unfortunately, he kind of just, for him, he gets kind of backed up into a position where he just can't really punch. But Usyk does win the lead hand battle here, right? Even though Fury's hand is like in his face, up, down. Oh, so here's the other thing too, right? Now that he knows he's got Fury thinking? Because he's established or started to establish his left hand to the body. He knows Fury has to respect these dips that he does. Because if Fury doesn't respect those dips, he just gets punched in the body. And ironically enough, when Fury does this little dip level change, up, dip level change, again, right? Not waiting for a third beat, attacks on the second beat because he knows Fury's been timing him on the second beat. Again, fast adjustment from Usyk, right? So let's see, 1, 2, right? On the third beat now changes it. 1, 2, third beat changes it, right? So he lands that because he realizes he'll be getting timed on the 3. So again, though, good adjustment. Again, dude's fucking unified world champion for a reason. Usyk, like he's no slouch. He knows what he's doing. I have no idea what this button does, but it made it so spacebar didn't pause, so that's why I was clicking that. Very deep, I know. Deepest comment of this analysis. And again, right, Usyk extremely skilled with his feet. Again, it's all in the feet, right? While he's doing this, while he's pairing with his lead hand, right, timing these steps, so he's kind of able to get in between the beats of Fury's rhythm. You'll hear me talk a lot about like bachata timing. Bachata music is really good, actually. I think about because it has these weird like half beats or interrupting beats that are in between the rhythm of the established beat. And in this case, Usyk's almost trying to do the same thing, trying to get his feet to step in between what Fury is what Fury is doing, so that he's able to step around him, right? Make his own rhythm so that Fury can't attack him. This is kind of what Loma means when Loma talks about getting people to dance to his music or move on his timing as like the fight goes on. Usyk almost similarly is trying to do the same thing. Both guys are really trying to do it, trying to get the fight to happen on the timing that they want. And here you can see Fury trying to do it too. But right as he's doing this lead hand stuff, sets and moves outside. And then I think he does it again. He actually does it like twice, and that's what lets him get this angle here, right? So right there, still circling outside. Sets, circles outside, up, sets down, circles outside again a little bit more, and that's what lets him get that angle so he can throw that shot safely, right? It's kind of hard to see, but you can still sort of see it from the feet, which is what I want to talk about, like lead foot dump. This is a perfect example of that, right? Foot almost all the way outside. His toes are at like Fury's heel in terms of like width, how far outside he is. And now here, he's like a full foot outside of Fury. He's actually almost too far away. But you can tell now Fury can't really throw anything to hit him without backing up. Here he's already backed up, right? But before, Fury was like here. His torso was like here. So he wouldn't be able to throw anything to hit Usyk when he's this far behind, when Usyk is this far behind him, right? So that's why this works. That's why he's looking for that outside angle. And again, really good job by Usyk to take that deep step. Again, right, that long, like, pushing jab. You can see Fury starting to try to set up this, like, stiff arm. And interestingly here, I can't tell if this is him just trying to actually, like, hold Usyk's glove, but you'll see his front hand shake, like that. I think because he is looking to actually hold it in place. I couldn't tell, though, if that was because he was just waiting for Usyk to time it, and that's why he's, like, moving his wrist a little bit. Now, that's interesting. See this little wrinkle right here? Wouldn't be surprised if Fury starts to throw punches from this spot here. That little feint right there. Because Fury can punch from this range, right? If he wanted to throw like that right uppercut, like we talked about before, that he was kind of looked like he was messing around with, could throw it from here, or straight right up, or to the body, and absolutely like could land. Now he's kind of feinted Usyk off. Again, this is one of the progressions you'll see a lot with this this style of Usyk and Loma. Of I beat you with level changing down, and so now the opponent starts to level change before them, because if they're already down there, then they can punch in this case the Ukrainian before they dip or while they're dipping, so they can't get to this position, right? So this is why you see Usyk this is why you see Fury get here first, which is why you can see Usyk slips because he's expecting a punch and then immediately backs up because he realizes, oh shit, I got beat to this position, I gotta back up. Because if I don't back up, I can get punched. And even though Fury's just feinting here, that's like smart, right? Defensive responsibility, right, from Usyk. Again, getting out of the way. Again, you see the the hilarious back knuckle jab makes its return yet again from Fury. It's like hitting with the fucking back of his hand. Interestingly, right? Because he realizes Usyk has kind of clocked that he's trying to circle outside of him now. Again, right? You can see he moves real fast, then slows down and pump steps a little bit here, and again slips to what a jab or left hand because he doesn't want to get predictable, right? Again, he knows I can time people on this timing. I don't want people to time me on this timing, which means I need to move so that people don't hit me when I'm doing this. Again, right? Man's very aware of his own like internal body mechanics, his movement, and his rhythm. Very natural, right? Certainly. Very natural fighter, as he says. Interesting to see both guys set here. Fury also, I think, feinting. Actually, that's more of a defensive slip. But this time it's like an offensive slip. But then he sees... The interesting thing here, too, is he sees Usyk start to slip outside, which is why he immediately backs up, right? Realizing, oh, I just got beat because Usyk got too deep on me and I couldn't punch him. And as soon as Usyk starts to look like he's going to do that, he pulls back again, right? Again, right? Ooh, interestingly enough, now Tyson Fury almost, not like doing nothing, but like instead of attacking on no reaction, now he's attacking on a reaction that maybe he's looking for, right? He's looking for that slip outside. You can see right there, as soon as he sees Usyk slip outside like that, he's like, boom, boom, throw the 1-2. Right up the middle. As soon as he sees Usyk do this, right? As soon as he, or interestingly enough, as soon as he like pump fakes this like jab, gets Usyk to move there, throws that quick 1-2, pushes him back. And again, right, Fury being non-committal, because he knows, right, the Ukrainians, Loma and Usyk, love to do this like fake disengage, re-engage, where they leave and then come back and then try to catch you napping when you're not paying attention. So he sees Usyk back up here. Not here, sorry. Sees Usyk back up after this and then come back. And so immediately he wants to attack him on this timing to make sure that Usyk doesn't just get back on the line for free, right? Again, right? Fury has the advantage because he's at the line first. He pushed Usyk away, and then Usyk stupidly came back to the same spot. Fury's like, well, if you're just going to do that, I'm already here, so I'm just going to punch you while you're getting in position because I'm already in position to punch because I never moved. And then you stupidly walked right back to where we were fighting instead of trying to reposition, which is why Usyk almost gets hit or does get hit on that timing. Again, right? Despite the fact that Fury is keeping out long control, right? He can't just leave his arm out there. And this is Usyk again countering that, right? Using that upward block, getting around this, right? You can see he parries the hand up right there for a second before he throws that hand to the body. And you can see this one really lands. Look at how much his arm is bent, right? If you learn about like punching or striking, you'll see that, you know, they talk about like penetration, like you want to punch, you don't want to punch the target. You don't want your hand to just brush it. You want to punch through the target, right? So right here you see upper block, boom, get it out of the way. Hand hits the body, and he still has like a good bit of extension left in his arm. So like he's getting penetration, right? He's getting like 2-3 inches penetration on that punch, which is good for landing a shot significantly, right? So Fury not, even despite the fact that Fury's kind of rolling with the shot a little bit, definitely getting hit there, right? Like that's definitely a scoring punch. That's not nothing. And again, right? Usyk rising. Again, keeping his hand up here, right? So he counters this little jab, a high jab that Fury was just doing. And again, right? Not setting too deep because he just got countered on that. So he's just kind of like popping up and down. Up and down, up and down. And then as soon as he sees that control come out on this rhythm from Fury, right? Boop. One when I come forward, again when I come forward. Realizing that Fury is trying to time him. So again, a really good example. Again, Usyk has really good IQ. Not to take anything away from the man, right? Realizing almost immediately, right? As soon as I come forward, he tries to control me. As soon as I come forward, he tries to control me. As soon as I come forward, I'm going to hit him this time, right? Not waiting for the third beat like he was before. And again, immediately realizing, oh, there's no control from Fury. Punching lane's open. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Laser beam. Bloop, 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 and then he punches him. It's like a little submarine. I don't know what the fuck that sound was I just made. Don't laugh at me. I can hear you laughing already. If you think it's funny, that's good, though. I like to entertain you guys with my fucking shenanigans a little bit. Because I find it funny, too. Right here, again, you can see, right? Usyk has clocked. Oh, every time I rock forward, Fury's trying to time me. Boom. Again, getting penetration on that punch. You can see that one definitely scores too. Even though Fury's taking the sting out of it a bit by moving away. Right? Still definitely getting hit a little bit there. And now, ironically, or very, very well for Usyk, we couldn't really see it before because, again, fuck camera angles. But now you can see it. Now look at what it is. Ooh, baby. This is what Usyk wants. Usyk's like, fuck yeah, dude. It's like five-star meal, 5-course meal, fucking full-ass buffet. Been trying to get Fury into this position all fight, right? So again, right, cutting off the ring more smartly this time, staying outside of him, not letting him get away with it, not letting him just circle outside, right? So again, you can see here, I want to study now because you can see, right, this is a really big win for Usyk. We want to see what led to this. Right here, again, staying wider outside of him, coming onto the line before to try to counter Fury so Fury can't just like do this little pump fake, front slip, continue to circle outside like he was, right? And that kind of stuffs Fury's movement outside, forces him to go back. And then again, right, feinting again to try to interrupt Fury's feints and his timing so Fury can't circle outside, which works because Fury then is like, oh shit, I gotta back up a little bit. And then as soon as Fury starts to back up, just again taking a small step forward, still staying outside of him. And again, as soon as, interestingly enough, even though he almost gets clocked right there, right? Because I think Fury kind of realizes Usyk is trying to maybe time him coming outside, or maybe not. I think this is actually him just reacting to Usyk's slip, right? The footwork here is really good because it blocks Fury's front foot. See how far ahead his foot is, too? And ironically, because Fury chooses to attack here, even though he pushes Usyk back, doesn't go anywhere, right? Usyk steps forward and, again, gets outside of Fury's foot so that he can't just get away from him and circle away. And now, even though Fury has, like, body jabbed him and gotten some distance, Usyk is still outside of Fury, right? Like, if you look at their stance, his angle, right? He's like 2 feet closer to center ring than Fury is. So he still can, like, cut the ring off from this position, even though he just got, like, punched. And again, right, moves back smoothly with, like, a short little step in. Again, feinting, right? But still always staying outside. That's that angle we talked about that he wants, right? Again, staying outside. And again, staying even further. You can't see the feet anymore, but you can tell based on what happens, right? That he gets outside of him, and now Fury's like trying to back up and move to his right, which is not what he wants to do. And again, because Usyk knows he's cut off the ring, knows now that Fury can't just back up, and the distance is closer because now Fury has just moved directly to the right, which means he's directly in the line of fire for Usyk, right? Because Usyk was outside of him before. Now his feet are in line with Usyk, and Usyk knows, oh, okay, this body jab is free. And that continues to push Fury back to Usyk's left. And because he's won all these engagements now, he's gotten Fury like almost all the way into this corner off of those, which is really, really good. Again, great stuff from the champ. Again, right, doing these up down feints. Again, right, realizing, oh shit, I can't do the third thing in a row. So he doesn't attack here. Here he just backs up, right? And because he's able to kind of feint Fury out of position, right? This is what he wants. He wants to get Fury like backing up or back on his back foot because now there's only one thing he can do, which is punch with this right hand. And you can see as he's trying to, even Fury knows, oh, this is a bad position. As soon as he tries to move his weight forward off that, boom, is when he gets blasted with this left hand by Usyk. It looks like it doesn't score there, but only because he literally just hit him with it. Right, so Usyk's not only just trying to feint Fury to get him onto his back foot like this, but he's also trying to time him when he comes back forward off of that. Right, so all these feints here are to try to get Fury back onto his back foot. Like that little motion right there. That right there, right? He knows the weight's on his back foot, so now he knows, oh, Fury's going to try to come forward a little bit. So gets this lead hand out to control, and then again slips outside, so he's outside of that right hand. Again, can't really tell because the referee's hands are in the way, but it looks like he has that outside, has that outside angle he wants. Still, again, right? Cutting off the ring, still circling back to the left, but keeping his right foot outside of Fury's. So he cuts things off, right? Now Fury can't just walk past him to the left either. So he's really cut the ring off now, and Fury's like totally in the corner. And you can see Tyson Fury dicking around as Tyson Fury do. I love this shit though. He's like making, I love it. He's like making fun of himself because he knows, oh man, I'm slipping all over the place. Let's just have fun with it. So we just fucking grab both ropes and slip like. I didn't realize that he does this. Holy shit! I want to take a fucking picture of this because this is perfect. Anyway, gotta love this guy. Anyway, back to the analysis. And then because he's just being a dumbass, almost gets out of the corner for free. Usyk's like, alright, I can feel the bait coming. But hilariously, doesn't let him entirely get away with it. Comes right back and is like, come on, let's fight. Again, though, Fury with his, it's a tactic. Fury with his, circus show gets out of the corner. So even though he's still mostly in the corner, he's not all the way in the corner now. throwing his opponent off his game, so maybe he's not as tuned in, right? Is able to get out of trouble. And ironically, able to sort of sucker Usyk into being there for a third beat, right? Like we kind of talked about that he doesn't want. And you can tell, right? Usyk again, right? Realizing when Tyson Fury moves through this spot, right? The distance that he's passing or the range that he's in is closer. It has to be, right? Because he's only just moving to the left. He can't go back at all, so he can't keep the distance the same like you would in a circle, right? He has to get closer, which is why you see Usyk trying to throw this left hand. And it's funny because this is a left hand that we're going to see this come up later. If you watch the fights, you know what I'm talking about. But this is also, interestingly, him trying to catch Fury, trying to circle this way, right? Trying to circle out, not letting him do it. Again, cutting the ring off, right? Again, right? Staying outside of him. Here you can see Fury feint game, speed stepping up, because he knows he's kind of out of position here. There's a 1, 2. Again, though, he sees Usyk kind of coming forward, so he knows it's not a great position. Again, right? Trying to time him with that third feint. That actually probably could have been a punch. Or at least is him trying to test a timing, right? But he sees the block coming forward. Again, great eyes, great reactions, right? So he just loosens up his arm a little bit because he knows, like, I don't need to throw this like a real punch because it's not going to land with anything because the block from Usyk is coming, right? Again, Usyk timing that jab out pretty easy. And again, interestingly enough, too, right there, Usyk did something to him that he scored with before, which is why I think you see Fury kind of freak out a little bit. He does his little upward block right there. And that's why you can see him duck down real fast because he's like, oh, are you going to dip and slip in, throw a left hand like you did before? Nope. And that's why he's like, oh shit, I bit on the feint. I got to back up. And again, right? Ironically, I think you could tell maybe Fury's a little thrown off by that because he kind of misses this little 1, 2, third micro timing. Again, right? Usyk with the slip outside right there is to stop Fury from countering over the top with a jab or baiting his front hand out of position because he realizes it's out of position right there. He just got feinted out of position. You can see Fury trying to take advantage of it, but he backed up too far, so he couldn't really land this as a punch right there. Again, good job, good defensive responsibility by Usyk, right? You can see him slip down to the left. And he's been passing through this high position before, but right here he doesn't come right back to it. He like comes back up, goes right back down, and gets under what could have been an easy jab for Fury. Again, to gradually win control back. Fury just trying to push Usyk away. Usyk looking for this little upward block. Slip in like he has before, right? Like right there, like he has before. And looking for it again here, right? Which is why you kind of see him try to dip down and try to see, can I get under you? You can see him go for it again here. And this time, Fury's parrying his hand down and then trying to jab in right over top. And that actually scores. Because here he realizes, again, immediate adjustment. Again, Fury, crazy fucking IQ. Realized, oh, the last time you got under me like this, you stayed right where you were. And now you're there for that jab, right? He didn't dip down because he's like, oh, you're not looking for deep left hand to the body right now. You're staying high, right? Right here, he sees, oh, Usyk was not going to attack on that timing at all. So he's like, okay, well now, when I get over you like this, I know I can hit you because I know you're going to be there. And here, though, despite the fact that Usyk kind of eats this jab to the head, right, follows it down and gets under and finally gets the angle that he wants. He's able to get down enough under Fury's arm. He couldn't do it there, right? Because you could see as Fury's arm comes out, look where it is, too. His head's like above Fury's arm, just barely right here, right? So he can't slip down under this shot, which is why he doesn't go for the punch there. But here, because it gets Fury to back up just a little bit, he's able to pop this hand up and then throw that left hand to the body. Again, it's a game of inches. So you can see, ironically enough, he is looking for that left hand to the body, but maybe Usyk realizing, oh, I'm messing around too much. I gotta get this punch off. Or Fury's just gonna hit me and get me off the line and get me out of position. Again, right? Usyk looking to hit Fury as Fury circles in front of him here, too. Right? Right here. Again, right? He has kind of clocked, at least in these positions when he's able to get Fury's hand, his lead hand out here, that he can slip around it or go under it. Again, like this. And again here, as soon as he sees his right, he's coming back through this center position, I think almost to either bait out a jab or just keep Fury's hand in this position right here so he can get this angle. Because before, when he would come through this high position, right, look at all the times before he couldn't get this off, right? He's coming back through this high center position, Fury's hand is low and loaded and set. It's back. He's too far away here. Right here. Doesn't quite have the angle. Actually, there he almost could have done it. But there, he can't punch because the right hand from Fury is still there. Right here, his right hand is loaded up. So that's why he can't do it there. He's too far away still. Again, getting closer and closer. Comes back through the spot. Can't do anything, right? Still too far away. Fury's hand is back. It's loaded up. Again, here, right, as he's coming back through position, back through high center, the sort of jab comes out but comes back right away. So there's no opening there. And then here, he's finally getting Fury's hand to come out, which is what he wants. He wants his hand away from his body. And then when Fury's hand finally comes out is when he does that. And again, as soon as he clocks that Fury's hand is up there again, he goes right in for the body. Again, right hand up from Fury, covering that left hook, straight left from Usyk. Good defensive responsibility. If only he was this responsible for the whole fight. Spoilers. We'll see him get a little bit less defensively responsible and have that come back to bite him later. Again, right, trying to catch Fury as Fury tries to circle out, not letting him just walk away, right, punishing him with this like positional advantage. Again, Fury realizing like I gotta, as Floyd Mayweather Sr. says, keep your hands busy, keep your motherfucking hands busy. If you ain't throwing, you ain't winning. Direct quote, actually a direct quote from Floyd Mayweather Sr. Fury realizing I gotta just throw, right? He's like, I'm getting too scared by all this feinting and shit. I gotta just attack. I think that's kind of why you see him come out here and then go for these kind of motions in his own timings and seeing like, oh, I feinted down, no control coming back from Usyk. I feinted down, no reaction, and then hilariously he does it. It's so funny too. You can see he's a little nervous because he's feinting a little bit more than usual here, right? Does the first feint, no reaction. Normally he would just hit you right there, but he doesn't because he's like, I know Usyk's on the ball right now, and he hasn't come at me at all. So you see he does the feint, and he does another feint, and then when he sees Usyk's not ready, then he punches him right in the face. Ooh, jeez, big jab. The other thing, too, that this does, which is funny, is Fury's not just moving his head here, too. He's moving his feet, right? His foot comes forward there, comes forward there, comes forward there again, and all that extra distance from those two steps, boom, gives him all that extra penetration on the punch, like we talked about, game of inches, right? And that's what lets him land that jab nice and stiff right to Usyk's face. So that's why, again, this little wrinkle of Tyson Fury's little step feints. And now you can see Usyk starting to look for that looping left hand. Again, just trying to keep Fury aware of it so that he doesn't get too one-dimensional, right? Like, I'm not only going to throw to your body, I can throw higher too. And really here, I think he's looking for the head. He's not looking for the body. He's trying to catch Fury moving forward. But again, Fury, right, doing a good job, getting his hand on Usyk's head, pushing him down so this punch can't land. Because Usyk can't get back to the left far enough to hit Fury, and keeps himself safe with that. Again, right, double feint, no reaction, immediate jab, right? And you can see he gets good penetration on that jab too. Because look at his like whole fucking wrist. Look at where this jab goes, right? His like whole wrist is touching Usyk's glove, which means that this absolutely would have scored if Usyk didn't block this, right? He's getting deep penetration, which is what he wants with these feints. And again, like Usyk aware and timing it, right? And also now Fury's starting to come back a bit. Though Usyk has kind of won this round mostly at this point. Again, trying to control that left hand and or with his left hand, trying to control Usyk, push him back to the right into this right hand, which looks like it kind of lands. Again, Fury realizing, feeling himself in his own timing, has realized, oh, I've done a lot of double feints and then attacked recently. Now I'm just going to double feint just to fuck with you. So he does it and just gets, again, right? Does the same thing that has just worked and then just doesn't attack off of it because he's like, let's just see what you do, right? Or just to keep myself unpredictable. Ooh! And then Usyk is like, I do not enjoy being fucked with, good sir. Bonk. And this time, not letting himself get his head controlled, right? Parrying the lead hand down, and then again, right, not throwing to the body like he has before. Boom! Throwing a big looping left hand over the top. Right, you can see he's coming back here, and then as soon as he realizes, oh, that was a feint, he feels safe taking space. So he does. Again, right, real fast adjustments from Usyk. Again, dude's got really high IQ. He's really good for a reason. And then as soon as he realizes he's coming forward, and his weight's coming forward now too, right? Because he's kind of bouncing, moving forward, but just setting his feet, right? So, right? He's bouncing, moving forward, setting his feet, bounces back, bounces, moving forward, is still coming forward. And then as soon as he realizes Fury's not doing anything, he keeps moving forward and is like, ooh, baby. Zoom in. Ooh. Oh, wait, we can't. If I could zoom, I would, but God, his face, perfect. Is like, ooh, it's free real estate. Bonk. And a big looping left hand. Fury trying to use the shenanigans to get out of that one, and Usyk's like, nah, man, I know I just touched you up. That was good. Ooh. Again, Fury showing off his upper body movement, realizing he's got to. Just feeling out the rhythm. Again, trying to shield or block this left hand. Partially, only a little bit successful. Again, right? Dude's fast. Sometimes you only got to be fast for a small distance, right? So here he realizes, oh, punches are coming. Whoop. And he's like, man, I just got away with robbery. You know the man wants to stunt a little bit. And that's the end of the round. There you go. Damn, what was that? Hour and a half. Boom. There you go. Hour and a half for all one round.